Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Call Glass. My name is Evan Hale. Today we got a very special episode. It's always a special episode, but today especially is a special because the draft lottery just happened. Well, a couple hours ago, I was working my day job, just got home, and then we're gonna have a little bit of a reaction to the overall where everything kind of landed, or where it kind of ended up, and then we're gonna do a mock draft of the first round. I'm gonna start by saying I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable with this draft class to like through the lottery and then some, but there definitely are some deficits from me. So I'm gonna do a full first round mock. And if it's not perfect, if you don't love every pick that I made, uh, I'm gonna learn more about these guys as things go on. I mean, we still it's going to be the combine this week, so we'll learn more about these guys and stuff's gonna move around. But this is just my initial reaction. I wanted to do like the first 22 ish picks, but you can only go 14 or 30. So we're just gonna do 30 and especially near the end of the first round. If you don't like it, I apologize. But does it react to the overall landing here? We got a super. A lot of the bad teams stayed bad. Like they ended up with a decent pick, which is good. I was worried it was going to be like, I was so sure that the Warriors and the Mavericks going to jump this draft. I was positive they were. But the only team that was like pick 9 or lower that jumped was the Bulls, who I think they deserve to jump. They got new management. You're gonna have new coaching staff. I'm excited for the Bulls. Got a lot of friends who are Bulls fans. They're all very excited. A lot of content creators I follow are also Bulls fans. I feel like the NBA is gonna be a little better when the Bulls are good. Obviously, that's gonna compete with the Hornets for what I want to do, but for overall NBA, I think that's good. Then you got the Grizzlies getting number 3 pick. So the Bulls got 4, Grizzlies got 3. We're gonna go over. We're gonna do the mocks. You're gonna see where I think they're gonna pick here. But Grizzlies, they blew it up a little bit. They traded away Jaren Jackson Jr. They traded Desmond Bain last offseason. They're probably gonna trade John Morant from everything that I've heard. So I mean, they're gonna have a reset here, and they're gonna have 2 picks in the top. Well, they had pick 3 and pick 16, so they're going to be able to address some things for their future. And I like their young core they have. And I think they're going to be, not very good next year, but they added a lot of picks. And the way this new lottery system is going to work out, I don't know how many of them are like worst swaps or best swaps. I haven't looked that into it since all the trades they've made, but they're going to have a chance to have some good picks here. Then you have the Jazz, who got the second pick. The Jazz were fined a couple of times for benching guys this year and for tanking, but they also did go after Jaren Jackson Jr. And similarly, the first pick was the Wizards, who went after Trae Young and Anthony Davis this deadline. So if you want to be the rigging conspiracy theory people, maybe the NBA reward them for trying to not be bad anymore. The teams that fell, that kind of a bummer. I would like to see the Kings get a top 4 pick because the Kings were genuinely bad. The Kings are going to suffer from this new lottery more than likely coming up next year. Just a fact of life. Like, it's unfortunate. The Nets also don't own their own first picks for a while because of all the trades they made. So you'll see it. Also, the Pacers, they top 4 protected their pick, picking it up at 5. So I think the furthest they could have fallen 6. So the Clippers ended up with that 5th pick. So shout out them. They really are winners of that the Zubac trade. They get Benedict Mathurin, they get the 5th pick, and they get a pick next year and a second round pick, I think. So if you're the Pacers, you really got to hope that that Zubac shows out for you next year. But yeah, so we're gonna do a first round mock. Like I said, we're gonna go through it, and I feel very confident in my knowledge up to probably pick 20, and then I feel pretty decent about some picks after that too. But we'll go over it. We're not gonna do anything too crazy here, but I'm gonna put up the screen right here, and here we go. We got first pick to the Washington Wizards. I feel like the top 4 is kind of known. I think top 4 is going to go the order everyone thinks it's going to go. I think you just added Trae Young, so I think they go Demance. I think he fits the way their roster is right now, so I'm going to have him go 1. He's the highest upside guy. He's the guy that I think has the lowest floor as well. Not the lowest floor, but he's going to be special, man. I think he's the guy. If I had to put money on somebody being a superstar out of this draft, I'm going to put money on him. Then you land with the Jazz. So the Jazz have an interesting roster. They added Jaren Jackson Jr. You already have, Walker Kessler. You have Keyonte George, who had a really good year. Lauri Markkanen played the 3 when he was in Cleveland, so I think he can run the 3. Then you'll have Jaren at the 4, Walker Kessler at the 5. And like Deontay George was burdened to be a point guard, but he hadn't really been a point guard his whole career. He obviously showed out this year, so shout out to him. But now you can add Darren Peterson, who's I'm gonna have to go number 2. So Darren can take over that point guard role. His numbers for assists weren't that good in college. If you go back and when you watch the tape, like he was setting guys up and they were just selling the shots. In high school, he was a much better facilitator. Obviously, like you want to see better numbers than that for your guy who you want to play point guard for you. But I think that if you watch the film, you'll see that he was a good passer. It was just that the guys around him weren't finishing the buckets. So then the only other thing for that with Utah, there's 2 interesting things with Utah. AJ DeManso went to college in Utah. The owner of the Jazz put a lot of money into BYU so they can get him there. I wonder if there's a world where they try to like throw everything they have, all the assets they got at the Wizards for the first overall pick and try to get him. And there's another wrinkle where if they don't, the Jazz they have Boozer. They have Carlos Boozer is in their front office. So like, is there a world where they like go and they take Cam Boozer instead and add him? Who knows? I think that Darren Pierce is the best fit for what they're doing right now. I think if you draft, if you draft Cameron Boozer, you have such a congestion there with Lowry and Triple J as well. So I think it worked. Darren Pierce is the best for them, and then I think you got Cam Boozer going 3. I think obviously you worry about the foot speed of him and Edey as your bigs, but it's nice to have a good defensive defensive big behind Boozer and let him shine. I think that they need a guard because I think Jaw's going to be going, but you'll see. I looking at it, I think there's going to be a guards to fall to them when it all comes down here and they're pick 17. Then I got the Bulls. Dude, the Bulls, I think that Caleb Wilson and Matas Buzelis, dude, that's going to be a fun 3-4 for them. They're going to have 2 athletic guys who can go catch lobs. They can space the floor a little bit. I think Caleb Wilson, he's shown that he can, space the floor. And guys like Caleb, you didn't see Darren Peterson do enough because he didn't miss a lot of games. He didn't have a lot of opportunities. I'm not saying he's not one of these guys, but you have these guys like, you have AJ, you have Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Darius Akuff. These guys like rose to occasions in big games. Like they showed up and they had big plays in big games. There's a lot of dogs, man. You get a lot of dogs in this draft. You got with the 5th pick, I'm gonna go with Kingston Flemings to the Clippers. I think that Wagler and Akuff might be mocked a little bit higher than Flemings, but with you already having Garland, you traded for Garland this season. I think that Kingston Fleming has a better defensive backing to run with Garland, while Keaton Wagler and Darius Akuff are going to be struggle a little bit with the defensive side of the ball. I think that having Garland and then you having Kingston Flemings with Benedict Mathurin, that could be a fun team, especially if you end up trading Kawhi. You could still have a future with a young core. And then you got Brooklyn on the clock. Brooklyn does not have their own pick for a while after this draft. I think they're all like swaps or they're traded away. So I think they're going to go with Keaton Wagler because I think that he's the highest upside swing. He's the guy that like if he works out, which I'm not too sure he's going to. I got to see him play in person twice, and like he was good. Don't get me wrong, but the whole team around him was also good, and like other guys stepped up in big moments. They blew out the teams that I saw them play in person, to be fair, but it felt like he was just kind of in the background for a lot of games. I was excited to watch him play in person, and then the tournament comes around, and he's just not a non-factor, but he wasn't as exciting as I thought he was going to be, and as explosive I thought he was going to be. But he definitely has that upside. He has the size, he has the range, he can facilitate. He's got to work on some stuff, but I think that he could be the high upside guy for them there. Then with the Kings, everyone has said if they like to cuff in the top 4 if they were in the top 4 if they landed at the 4th pick. So I think for him falling to them at 7, they can't be that mad about it. And then you have the Hawks. The Hawks, they got 2 ways they can go here. They can go if they want a big, they kind of need a big, but they also have another pick in this draft. So I think that some bigs could fall, and you can go get Mikal Brown Jr., just a guy who's got size, and he's a point guard who can fit with what they have going on right now. He's going to be able to play in that offense. He's going to be able to, elevate to what they need from him. And then you can have him, if you want to remember McCollum, you can bring him back, have him come off the bench. Him and Dyson Daniels as your 1 or your 2 off the bench. Hopefully he can kind of fill into that role, the true point guard in the future. I think he's a good fit there. And then you have the Mavericks. This might be a little high for Baron Philon. I know he's kind of mocked to about 9. Like he's projected 9. I think that he is like probably the highest upside guy that for a guard to play next to Cooper Flagg. He can learn under Kyrie Irving. Kyrie's, he's coming off the ACL. He's getting older. We see guys come back from injuries as they age, and they're fine. But just some insurance there, and the guy for the build around the future. The Mavs the same way don't have a lot of their own picks in the future. Though I know the Hornets own theirs top 2 protected next draft, and they only have a couple picks to like 2033, I think. So you want to take it. I think he's kind of a swing here, a guy with some upside, with some size. I know he's a sophomore, so he's a little older than you might want to draft, and you go from there. And then I got the Bucks. I guess a lot of this depends on what they do. Like if they trade Giannis, maybe they just go for the high upside guy with Mint here. I have them going with Braden Birdie just because I don't know what they're going to do, and I think that he's the best guy available in that spot. Just if Giannis is gone, he's still a good guy there. If Giannis is not gone, he's not a good. He's a guy who can play some win now, play good defense. If you want to compete now, he can be that guy. If you want to take some time, he can also be a guy to develop and maybe become a better offensive player for the future. So that's exciting. Get the Warriors at 11. I think that they just go like Yaxel. I know there was rumors that they were interested in him. He's a guy who, is going to fit what they need at maybe not. He'll just be a guy there that's a win now type player. You're trying to, prioritize the end of Steph Curry's career. He's an older prospect. I think that he's just the best guy available right now for them in this mock, and I think that they'll take him if he's there on the board, depending on where everyone else falls. And then we got the Thunder on the clock. Thank God they did not jump. I would have been so upset if they jumped at the draft. I think the Thunder are going to take some swings on some projects. I think Nate Ament, he's a guy who's got some really big upside here. I think that he could be really good. I mean, he still averaged 17 points in college, but he definitely has, only shot 40% of the field. He needs to grow some more. So let him go develop with what are they, the Blue or whatever. I forget what their G League team is. But go develop with the G League team. Learn under these amazing guys around them, and then hopefully maybe one day he'll be there to step up when they need him. So then we got the Heat at 13. I'm kind of interested in what they do. I don't know. I just think that a guy who feels like a person they would draft here is Kareem Lopez. He's a little bit younger, but he just feels like a Heat guy. I don't know how to describe it. He just feels like a Heat guy to me. So maybe a little bit of a reach. But he's like a slightly developed player. I think that he's one of those dudes that he just feels like a Miami Heat guy. Don't ask me why I feel that way. I just feel like he's the guy I could see him going off the board there. There's a lot of bigs kind of in this range too, so let them go ahead and take a wing. We'll see how it goes, And then the Hornets, Ade Mara. He's a good defensive wing, a good defensive center. He also has a great feel for like passing the ball. The Hornets like to run a lot of sets with the center with the ball at the top of the key. He just kind of feels like what they're trying to do in Charlotte. So I like that fit there a lot. We got the Bulls on the clock here. The Bulls was just took. What did they take? They took Caleb Wilson before. They also need a big, so I think that Heinz Steinbach for them, that makes a lot of sense for what they're trying to do here. Go get you a big. So you go and you get either Caleb Wilson's going to run the 3 or the 4. Modest going to run the other one, whatever Caleb doesn't run, and then you have Hans Steinbach. It's a good 3 through 5 to build around for the future. I don't know, my computer just made that noise. Sorry if you heard that. Then we got the Grizzlies on the clock again. They're probably going to lose Jaw this offseason. I wouldn't mind if they went and got like Christian Anderson. I think he's just a good guard to kind of be your point guard for the future, especially after adding a big. And you're not going to be good next year. You have a lot of picks to build around. He's really like a safe pick, a good pick there for them to kind of work around. And then we got the Thunder again. I cannot believe they have 2 top 20 picks. That's disgusting. I hate that. You know, Hartenstein's probably going to leave this offseason and get paid somewhere else. And you have other guys behind, Chet to be the future. But Jaden Quaidens, he's a guy I think he could be one of the best defensive bigs in this draft. You go and you take him. He only played 4 games at the ACL tear this year, but at Arizona State the year before, he just was so high energy, such a good defender. He's a guy again like Nate meant. You take him. There's a saying that it's easier for a center to reach their floor than like a guard or a wing. So he won't take that. It won't be that hard for him to reach his ceiling or his floor, and then he could be that another big to have around Chet there. But I think it's a really good fit for him there. And then you end up with Charlotte on the clock here. This is where it gets tough. There's guys like if you wanted to double up, if you want that physicality and that size, Koa Pete's an option there. But his inability to just face the floor is such a concern. Cameron Carr, he's a smaller forward, 2-3, just like a smaller wing, but he's high energy. He can space the floor. He can attack the rim. He averaged 19 points in the Big 12. His shot selection is a little iffy, but I think that he could be a guy for the future that kind of fits what Charles trying to do. Obviously, I have a Hornets focus. I'm more on the Hornets hat. I got the Muggsy Bogues jersey behind me, so there's a little bit there of what we're trying to do here, a little bit of bias, but knowing what the Hornets do, I think he could fit there. And you run Kobe White, you got Cam Carr, then you have Sion James as your 1-2-3 off the bench. Could be interesting. And then you needed some more physicality and size in your 4 eventually. Then we got the Raptors. Chris Anack makes the most sense. Colin Murray-Boyle has been awesome for them this year. He's your forward of the future. I think that Jakob Poeltl, he had some okay games in the playoffs, but Chris Anack can be your center of the future. You're building around with CMB, with Scotty, and then you can have Chris Anack, and that can be your 3, 4, 5. I think that's really interesting what they're trying to do here. And then we got the Spurs here. Just a heads up, a couple guys like Berlin Mullins and like Patrick Youngba, they're guys who they haven't taken them out of the board, but they're going back to college. So I like Morris Johnson to San Antonio here. Luke Cornett's going to be a guy who's going to be behind Wemby for a little bit, but he's another guy who can kind of develop behind them, and he's versatile on the 4 and the 5. Just kind of fits what they're trying to do too. Good defender. He's an interesting pick for me. And then we have the Pistons on the clock. I like Bennett Sturts. Get Cade another ball handler. It was awesome in Iowa this year. It was fun to watch. Be your backup point guard. And you can run him with Cade too, with Cade's size. I like the fit there. And then I think Koa Pete's been sliding. I think that I like the fit in Philly. I think that they can work around his spacing issues and develop him a little bit. And he feels like a type of player that they want in Philly. He feels like he's like a dog. Like feels like a Philly kind of guy. And then here we go. This is a Hawks pick. There, I mentioned they need a big. I'm just scrolling down here. I think that I think it's Henri is how you say it. Vazar. I watched him play in person. I think I know how to say his name. I don't. 7-footer. They need a 7-footer in Atlanta real bad. So add the size there. I like the fit. And then we got the Knicks here. The Knicks, they can go a couple different ways here, but I think they're going to lose Mitchell Robinson this offseason. So if you go get a center, let's look. I think your best bet for center is Flory Badunga out of Kansas. He just fit wise, I think he makes the most sense there. And then Joshua Jefferson, I feel like he could fit in in Los Angeles. I think that LeBron might be gone. And if you're looking at the Luka future and Austin Reeves future, adding a big who can space the floor is just something you want to do. And he's a guy, space the floor, a little undersized for a center. He's also a little old, but feels like a semi-win now kind of guy. And then looking here for the Nuggets here. Let's look off the centers list here. Dash Daniels, I think, is also going back to Australia. Dame Sarr, he feels like a guy who's like NBA ready. Good shooting, secondary ball handler. We don't know what they're about to do with Denver. They might trade Aaron Gordon. They might trade Jamal Murray. We don't know what's going to happen. So he feels like a guy who can space the floor, NBA ready guy. We'll see how it goes, but I think that he's a good fit there. Then we got Boston on the clock here. A guy that I like for them. Where's he at? Oh, he's up here. Jalen Swain. I think that he's got a lot of upside. He's pretty good at Texas. Some people have him going a lot higher. Some people have him going a lot lower. I think that he has a couple things he's got to work out with his game. But I think that going to Boston's like your best case scenario for a guy like him, especially if you're about to lose Jaylen Brown, like a guy who can kind of fill that spot. He's a little older, but a guy who can kind of come in and fill that spot for right now. That's the guy off the bench. Not a bad fit here, especially you're going to have a good value. He's supposed to go a little higher. Then we got Minnesota here. I think that you lost after losing Dante DiVincenzo. You're going to lose it next year. I say Evans, a 2-guard, space the floor, really good shooter. He can take some of those minutes that you're losing with Dante. Feels like a good fit for them there. Then we got Cleveland here. I think you just go. I like Amari Allen. I feel like he should have already gone at this point, especially with some of these guys not being in the draft. Amari Allen. So we get to this point in the draft, and I'm not stupid knowledgeable of these guys. I mean, he was a guy. He was really solid at Alabama, and then I think to round us out, we got Dallas on the clock. Tunde Esafu, good defender, good athlete, crazy athlete. I think they like the athletes and the guys like that. And Dallas, I think that makes a lot of sense for them. He also just put up so many points. So here's the let me pull it up a little bit here. Here's the first round mock for me. Like I said, I'm not a draft expert. I watched decent amount of college ball. I could have watched a lot more college ball. I do a lot of research separate. I'm trying to take more deep dives, especially in like the later part of this draft. I feel really confident in my knowledge about the guys up top. But I think this is a good mock. I think teams like the Grizzlies, you go get you a big in a Cam Boozer and then a guard. I feel like some teams come out here really well. I mean, the Hawks will get a guard and big too, fill some holes that they need. Hornets go get a big and a guard, like a wing, who can space the floor, and then Neymar fits really well. I mean, the Wizards, they're going to have, you look at the Wizards, they're going to have Trae Young, H.A. Debanza, Bilal Coulibaly, AD, and Alex Sarr, and then you're going to have, like, in Utah, you're going to have Darren Peterson, Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, Triple J, Walker Kessler. These teams are going to be fun. Bulls have a good future. Clippers just like fleeced the Pacers. I don't know. I like it. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe. There's like a new hype feature. So if you have the little hype button under the video, do that. It's really good for the algorithm. Comment if you think I'm an idiot or think you like my picks. Flame me if you got to. I understand. Also, if you're a Hornets fan, go watch Locked On Hornets. If you're not a Hornets fan, go watch Locked On, whatever you locked on for NFL, NBA, NHL, college teams. I work with Locked On as a producer, so I'm trying to make some money. You watching their channels makes me money. So go look up Locked On, whatever channel you watch, and you'll find some good content there. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all in the next one.